Hello, everyone. Welcome to this new PACT for Impact event dedicated to the project of a UN resolution on the social and solidarity economy. Thank you for being with us today. Just a few words before we get started. Next slide, please. This meeting is, but you are used to this now after two and a half years of Zooms and team meetings. This meeting is being recorded. We are holding it in French, even though I think we have a majority of French speakers or people who actually speak French, but you will get an opportunity to express yourselves and ask questions in French if you wish. So please do not hesitate if you're not too comfortable with English, and we'll find ways to translate. I'm going to show you now briefly what we're going to be talking about today. Thank you, the agenda. So I will leave the floor very shortly to Arnaud Boulanger, whom I believe most, if not all of you, know, who's the deputy head of the Social and Solidarity Economy and Impact Investment Unit at the French Ministry of Economy, Finance, and Industrial and Digital Sovereignty. That's long, Arnaud. He will have a few words of introduction. Then we will talk to the draft resolution, where we stand, what is the progress. Many of you have participated in previous meetings, but again, maybe for the newcomers, it's an opportunity for you to understand what we are doing and where we stand. And then Antonella Noia from OECD is with us today, and I thank her for this, and she will give us also some insights on what the OECD has been doing recently and intends to do. Unfortunately, I don't think we might have one person from the United Nations Task Force on the Social and Solidarity Economy and other people in New York. As you know, today being the 4th of July, it's a big day in the US, and so many of them cannot be with us today, but we might have one or two, I think, who are trying to connect. But with no further ado, I will now leave the floor to Arnaud.
Thank you, Frédéric. Good afternoon to all of you, and thank you for being with us today, this afternoon. I wish to express a special gratitude to Frédéric and Swandai from PACT for Impact for having organized that meeting today in preparation of what we are trying to achieve in New York within the United Nations. I would first like to highlight and remind what the social and solidarity economy, the SSE, is experiencing over the last few months in terms of visibility and political importance. In December 2021, the European Commission adopted a new action plan on the social economy. With this action plan, the Commission improved the recognition of the SSE and put forward concrete measures to help mobilize its full potential. In June 2022, the OECD adopted a recommendation on social and solidarity economy and social innovation. And I thank also Antonella Noia for explaining later the scope and the ambitions of that very important initiative. In June 2022, also, the International Labour Conference has achieved a major milestone through the adoption of a resolution and specific conclusions on SSE. These conclusions, they recognize the distinctive role that the SSE can play in achieving sustainable development, social justice, decent work, and also improved living standards for all. These conclusions are an important act, a point of reference across the multilateral system, in particular in terms of universal definition of the SSE, which is one of the main achievements and success of these negotiations in Geneva. In short, there is a clear international momentum in favor of the SSE, and only one piece of the puzzle is missing: a United Nations resolution for the SSE. The French Ministry of Economy and Finance is extremely supportive of that objective, and we have been working closely with our colleagues from the Ministry for Europe and Foreign Affairs to push forward this initiative. We are all fully on board, and I would say the French team is ready to support the next steps in New York, together with the like-minded countries, the dear friends of the SSE. Why is it important to have a UN resolution on SSE? The SSE has an enormous potential to answer the global challenges we are facing at a time of profound transformation to our world. France strongly believes that the combination of the SSE principles, values, and practices is a driver of economic and social progress and resilience in convergence with a significant number of UN sustainable goals. A UN resolution would clearly underline to what extent SSE is a modern and appropriate response to the main economic, social, and environmental challenges of the time. More importantly, it would set up a framework for its universal recognition and promotion. Indeed, such a resolution would further pave the way to UN and governments' policies, appropriate policies in favor of the SSE. It will help and encourage the development of an enabling environment. This includes access to finance and funding, skills and education, business support through, for instance, public procurement, and visibility. From the French perspective, we hope that a UN resolution would further support the convergence of SSE national legal frameworks and therefore support the promotion of a common understanding for the mutual recognitions of SSE entities and enterprises. Indeed, to date, these entities, these enterprises are far too much confined within their national borders, and we believe there is room for opening up and promote good solutions invented locally at the broader level through cross-border initiatives. What remains to be done? A lot of work remains to be done, but a lot has been done already. Here, I would like to underline the tremendous efforts made by the UN Interagency Task Force on the SSE, headed by Mr. Vic van Vuren. The UN Task Force has provided a draft text of the resolution, and thanks to the great coordination done by PACT for Impact, we are now about to agree on a version supported by several governments. Once the draft resolution is fully agreed by its state sponsors, it will be tabled at the United Nations as soon as possible through the relevant procedure and protocol with the support of the relevant permanent missions in New York. I personally hope that this can be done this year in 2022 in order to benefit from the undergoing international momentum we are still experiencing. So I thank you again for your presence today and your participation. Without further ado, I hand back the meeting to Frédéric. Merci beaucoup.
Merci, Arnaud. Thank you very much, Arnaud. We're going to get back to some of the points that you just mentioned. If you'll allow me a comment, we were just discussing this before we opened the meeting. I think we have good news also in France. You may have seen that we have a new government in place, and we actually have a new minister in charge of the social and solidarity economy. And she, because again, we have a woman in charge, she actually works directly under the leadership of the Prime Minister, which I believe is a very strong sign and a good sign that the French government wishes to continue its efforts to support the SSE. So this is, I think, something that we all hear at the French level, but I'm sure all of our friends here today are very happy about. So I'm going to come back on a few points mentioned by Arnaud. We all know, obviously, of the situation. The SDGs won't be achieved by, depending on who says it, but probably it will take another 30 to 50 years if we don't change the course. So it is very important that we strengthen our efforts, and we all know that the social and solidarity economy is a strong contributor to achieving the SDGs. Like Arnaud rightly said, this UN resolution would definitely fill one of the gaps left in the agenda by recognizing fully the importance of the SSE. It would help provide the opportunity for focused exchange and learning by member states. And we do believe in the force of such a resolution to really help create more traction and help under the guidance of UN agencies, member states to really work closely together on such an important topic. And of course, it would help contribute to improve policy making, implementation. We all know that this is very important. We have, I think here today, many countries, representatives of countries that support this UN resolution. They have their own legal frameworks or they're working on them. And again, this resolution will definitely be very helpful in creating more traction around this. So on the next slide, we will see what are the key elements of the resolution. And again, we don't have everyone here, but what we can say, and I'm sure many of you are familiar with this, there will be a preamble to this UN resolution, recording and taking note of the most important documents, decisions, and other elements that are agreed upon. And then the most important part being the operative section that recognizes, acknowledges, and encourages the role of the SSE in, again, promoting the SDGs. The call for action around this is really that the UN resolution must be seen as an opportunity for the General Assembly to really call on all member states to promote again and implement legal frameworks and policies. We all know the importance of such frameworks, especially the actors on the ground. I see people, representatives of Catalyst 2030 here, and other coalitions and movements on the SSE, and we all know the importance of such legal frameworks. Obviously, also give due consideration to the SSE within country policies, programs, and action plans. And again, an opportunity for the Secretary General of the United Nations Task Force on the Social and Solidarity Economy to prepare a report on the implementation of this resolution. So this is, again, an important step towards more action at UN level, at regional level, and at national level. Where do we stand? Where are we now? We have 8 countries, states that are clearly, officially mobilized towards this resolution: France, Spain, Togo, Cameroon, Senegal, Gabon, Argentina, and Ireland. We know that there are many more states. France, I know that Spain and others are holding bilateral discussions with other countries. The UN Task Force is also very active. Again, Catalyst 2030 is also a very strong supporter, is active and trying to mobilize other states. So I do believe that when comes the time to table the resolution and support it, there will be more than those 8 countries. We have a draft, which is rather comprehensive and complete. The work of at the ILO conference is also very helpful because there was a consensus around a definition. So I think we are getting close to having if not final, close to a final draft of the document. And what's important, and Arnaud rightly put it, is that the countries that are mobilized are usually, we start with the ministries in charge, but it's important that their counterparts at the foreign affairs be mobilized. So some of them are, and then that they in turn mobilize their delegations in New York. So this is an ongoing process with many countries. What is left to do? Obviously, there is room for more mobilization, more countries, more states to support this initiative. There is still a possibility for amendments to the text. My suggestion and my call, and we can discuss this later on when we have the questions and answers, is that if some of you here today want to contribute, you can do so through your own ministries at your country level. I think it would be the best way to proceed. And of course, for those countries present here today that support the initiative, again, it is important that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of your own country be mobilized, and that this ministry again mobilizes their representation in New York. So this is where we stand so far. We will have room again for questions, answers, comments towards the end of this presentation. I will now leave the floor to a very strong supporter of this initiative, Juan Manuel Sanchez from the Spanish Ministry of Labor, of Social Economy at the Ministry of Labor. Spain, again, has been very, very active these last few months and weeks, and is holding an event very soon on the 22nd of July. So the floor is yours to tell us about this event.
Thank you very much, Frederic. Yes, I'm gonna explain a little bit how we're organizing this event, this said event that is gonna take place in New York on Friday, 22nd of July. Well, this event has two main objectives. The first of them, which is a little bit general, is to make visible the important role that the social and solidarity economy plays in achieving the SDGs of the 2030 agenda. And the second objective is more specific, and it consists of analyzing the opportunity to promote a process leading to approval of a UN resolution on the role of the social and solidarity economy in sustainable development, assessing the most appropriate strategies for the process to be a success, and also to generate alliances and support from countries of different regions. This event, well, now is under construction. It is going to be inaugurated by our Minister of Labor and Social Economy, who you know is also Vice President of the government, Yolanda Díaz. And there are also going to be in the inauguration representatives of Maldives, who is now, the ambassador is now the President of the General Assembly, and from Botswana, who is the President of the ECOSOC. And there also, we have confirmation that Rebecca Greenspan, the Secretary General of the UNCTAD, the UN Conference on Trade and Development, will send a video. And also, we have just had confirmation today that Guy Ryder, you know, Director General of the ILO, will also send a video to this inauguration. There are going to be two round tables. One of them is going to be addressed by the sector. So we're going to have representatives by the International Coalition of Social and Solidarity Economy, also representatives of the UN Task Force, representative from the ILO, the Office for the United Nations, and also from the ESF, specifically the Mayor of Bordeaux, who is the president now of the ESF. This round table is gonna discuss on the partnerships to promote social solidarity economy in the 2030 agenda. And then there's going to be a round table with the core group of ambassadors that are going to talk about the relevance of a UN resolution, and also they're going to talk about the possible contents of this resolution and the different technical aspects so this resolution can be passed. Finally, conclusions are gonna take place by the Spanish ambassador, Ambassador Santos, who is the permanent representative of Spain to the United Nations, and the closing ceremony will be done again by our Minister of Labour and Social Economy and Vice President of the government, Yolanda Díaz. But the main message that we want today to you to convey, and Frederic has talked about it, and this is what is really crucial for us, is that here in PACT for Impact and in other groups, we are the ministries, the representatives that we are convinced on this resolution. But the important thing is that the sectorial ministries in charge have to contact the Ministries of Foreign Affairs, and specifically they have to contact the representatives in New York, because it's them who are going to take the decisions. So this is very important. Up to now, in this side event that I said it's still under construction, but we're working very fast, and our international unit is really working on it. We have also an important physical presence of different ministers. No? Up to now, we have confirmed the presence of course, of Spain, but also ministers from the Dominican Republic, from Gabon, from Slovenia, who is also Vice President, and from Senegal. And it is important that now we're working also on the presence of different other ministers. So this event is going to have an important political side, and the most important side, besides the political one, is then the next steps, is so the ambassadors really push this process and really commit to this process. And well, this is all on my side. If you have any questions, I will be glad to answer them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Juan Manuel. Maybe just one question for those who would be interested in participating. Is this a hybrid session? Is this only in New York? Can people attend online? What can you tell us about this for those here who might be interested or might want to convey the invitation?
Well, it's the event is mainly designed to be a physical event. But we're analyzing also to open it to make it a hybrid event. But it's designed to be mainly physical in New York. Yes. So this is important. What I said before is that many ministers are mobilizing to go there, and also ministers from different regions, because the resolution will be successful in our view if it's presented by different countries representing different regions, and this is why we wanted to do it mainly physical. Okay, but it will also be open for a hybrid participation.
Thank you very much, Juan Manuel. I think I see there's comments and questions. We will, if that's okay with you, and I think there was I think Sue raise her hand. So if you can just wait until the Q&A, we will get back to you. I see we have a comment also from Elisa Torrenegra in Colombia, who's telling us that there is a change indeed in government right now, but she will make sure that the contact is made to help with the resolution. Thank you very much for this comment. And before we have the questions and answers, I will now turn to Antonella. Antonella, a lot has happened. We mentioned ILO, but also the OECD. So without further ado, can you please, Antonella, tell us about what OECD has been doing and intends to do in the future around the social and solidarity economy?
Thank you, Frederic. Hello, everyone. I'm pleased to have the opportunity also to participate to this event, sharing with you some general information on the OECD recommendation on social and solidarity economy and social innovation, which has been adopted by the OECD Council during the ministerial event chaired by Italy and co-chaired by Mexico and Norway. So I do not need to explain again why, because Arnaud has made my life easier portraying what is going on at the global and international level. But of course, I want to say that all these current and forthcoming global documents, global positioning, are really intertwined, and I do believe that they can strengthen each other and have as an ultimate effect the effect of raising the awareness and visibility of social economy at global but also national and subnational level. And this recommendation apply to the different government levels. But maybe quickly to explain what the OECD recommendation is, and you can leave this slide. So it is a legal instrument, but what does it mean? So it is soft law, so it is not binding, not mandatory, but all the OECD member countries, because it has been adopted by the Council of the ambassadors of the countries sitting in the OECD, committed to implement it and then to support the development of social economy. And also accession countries are starting to request to adhere to the recommendation. So we have already received a request from Croatia, Brazil, Romania, and Morocco, and it is normal practice, in fact, that the country which will adhere to the OECD will also embark on implementing the different recommendations. So it has been a very long and regulated process, but now the recommendation exists. It is the first international standard on social and solidarity economy, and it is built around the ecosystem of policies, which is, can you just get back to the previous slides? So you will see that there are 9 policy domains ranging from fostering a social economy culture, regulatory framework, social impact measurement, data and social innovation. And so we hope that this recommendation will really motivate a greater uptake of social economy, and also will help removing the uneven playing field between social economy organization and traditional business. And also we really hope that it will help policy makers to position and to mainstream social economy so that it can really interact with green economy, circular economy, and can mainstream all the policy areas. So the other slides, please. I will not dig, you can move. So I will not give many details on all of this. You can find here the different area with some very general advice for policymakers. When you will read the recommendation, which is available not only in English and French, which are the official languages of the organization, but for the moment being is also available in Spanish, Portuguese, Korean, and we are waiting for Arabic, German, and Italian. You will see that there is detailed in each of these building blocks. There are from 5 to 6, 7 specific recommendation, and you can move to the other one. the ambition of this recommendation is, was already mentioning this a bit, to increase the impact of social economy, to foster evidence. We hope that the guidance that we will provide, for instance, on collecting and analyzing data, will shed additional visibility on social economy. And this is the result of 25 years work of OECD, but it is a starting point of another phase, because now we are preparing an implementation toolkit in which we will provide additional and very detailed guidance based on case studies. And I want to take this opportunity to ask you all to contact us, to send us what you consider to be very good policy examples in your country that you would recommend in order to other policymakers to support social economy, because the guidance that we will prepare will offer also these concrete examples. And I can stop here, I think. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Antonella. This is tremendous work, and this is very encouraging for the future. You will see here the links. They've been shared also in the chat with you. We'll be happy to help if you want to contact us, if you need also to make contact with Antonella and OECD. And we now have room. We have about 25 minutes for questions and answers. Obviously, we want this to be very open. It was important that we be able to give you a brief update as to where we stand, both at regarding this UN resolution and what OECD has been doing. And I think this is all going in the same direction. But please now do not hesitate to raise your hands. There was, I think, Sue, even though you put a comment as well. I don't know, Sue, if you would like to ask a question. You can also use the chat. So Sue, and then Mamadou Ndiaye.
Yes, please. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So my question was first of all, just to say how pleased we are. I'm representing Catalyst 2030, which is a network of mainly social entrepreneurs. And we're all in for the SDGs. And my question is, please, can you give us some very clear, an invitation for the side event that we could forward on, I could forward to our Minister for Business, for example, today, if you have it, and other members could forward it on. And secondly, my other question is, if Catalyst 2030 members are in New York, in the past, I've been involved in civil society support, working with governments towards things we want, for example, Goal 12, sustainable consumption and production. So we're very used to speaking to people within the UN circles to drum up support for the resolution, thinking more about September, but maybe that's too late. So those are my two questions. Would you appreciate civil society support, and can you provide us with something to help get people to attend the event?
So Sue, that's a question for Juan Manuel, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Sue, for your comments and your support. And well, regarding the invitation, if you send us the contact, we will send them an invitation. That we will do it through our international unit of the Ministry of Labor and Social Economy in Spain, and of course it's very much appreciated your support. The idea is to try to get the biggest and most committed group as possible. So thank you very much, Sue.
Thank you.
Thank you. I will now pass it on to Mamadou Ndiaye and then to Eva Cantele. We can maybe take two questions at the same time. So Mr. Ndiaye first.
Oui, merci beaucoup. Bon, je crois qu'on nous avait expliqué que nous pouvons intervenir en français et que cela ne va pas gêner, que les autres vont pouvoir répondre. D'abord, remercier PACT FOR IMPACT pour avoir associé le Sénégal dès le début, depuis la signature du manifeste. Et depuis lors, nous voyons que chaque jour, nous progressons vers l'objectif. remercier aussi l'Espagne. Nous avons reçu aujourd'hui même l'invitation donc du gouvernement espagnol pour participer à la réunion du 22. Et nous sommes en train donc de prendre les mesures pour faire participer Madame le ministre. Voilà donc, mais pour ma question va surtout à l'OCDE, parce que vous savez que le Sénégal a déjà mis en place une législation, une stratégie de promotion et de développement. Et la troisième étape dans laquelle nous sommes est la mise en place d'un système de données qui nous permettent de mettre en exergue la contribution de l'économie sociale et solidaire dans le développement économique. Nous sommes en train de travailler avec donc notre agence nationale de démographie et de la démographie et de la statistique, justement, et ils nous ont même fait parvenir un premier rapport. Et je voudrais simplement savoir, est-ce que dans ce processus, l'OCDE a des instruments et des moyens pour justement nous aider à faire le mieux possible, c'est-à-dire à être le plus performant possible en matière de base de données. Est-ce que par rapport au dispositif qui est actuellement mis en place, l'OCDE peut aider? Voilà, c'était ça ma question. Je vous remercie.
Merci, Monsieur Ndiaye. Avant de laisser Antonella répondre, I'm going to ask maybe Eva Cantele to also ask her question.
Hello everyone. Thank you. Thank you first for organizing this event and to keep us informed of the adoption of the UN resolution. It's very important for us network to know about this process. And I want also to congratulate all the persons that worked so hard now to celebrate this momentum. Thank you to the OCDE. Thank you to the people and persons that participate in the ILO and the ILC in Geneva. I would like to speak on behalf of the International Coalition on SSE that brings together 5 networks. Just saying that we start to organize our respective network to contact governments, to contact as well diplomatic representation in New York and people as well, person from United Nations in New York that can help us to have a role in the adoption of the UN resolution. So feel free to rely on us. We are 5 network very available to help you in this adoption. This is not a question but a comment regarding the process. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your support. Now coming back to Antonella, if you would like to answer Mr. Ndiaye's question around how OECD can support countries like Senegal and maybe others in their own process.
Well, thank you very much for that question. There are different ways in which OECD can support. One is the one that I mentioned before. Every country can decide to adopt this recommendation, and this is a strong element of support for the guidance which we can support. But we have also other tools. We do in-depth policy reviews. We analyze the situation in each country. We have a great experience on this, and we prepare a very detailed assessment of the situation of social economy in the country, and then we provide very tailored and focused policy recommendation to improve it. And of course, we can associate you to our events, initiative. Again, if you are interested, I will be glad to have a separate discussion and to inform you of all our events.
Thank you. Thank you, Antonella. Do we have any other questions or comments from the assistants? I see comments in the chat from Aude Saldana. Excellent. Thank you, Aude, for this confirmation of the participation of Mr. Pierre Urmic at the side event in New York organized by Spain. Okay, Salina, if you would like, Salina Chitalia, that right? The floor is yours.
Yeah, okay, thank you. First, apologies, we have some works going on, so I hope it will not happen while I'm speaking. I was very surprised to see that there were not so many EU countries part of that initiative in support. So I guess with the EU action plan, there must also be some kind of at the EU level in New York, some kind of common statement or something like that, some kind of support from the EU side in which because I'm talking from Pour la Solidarité, which is a think and do tank in Brussels. So I was wondering why there was no Belgium. So maybe there is a common position at the EU level and a support at the UN level from the EU side, from the EU representation. I just wanted to have a clarification about that.
Okay, thank you for your question. I don't know if maybe Arnaud, if you would like to answer this. You were representing, if I'm not wrong, you were in the French delegation, but you were also representing Europe in Geneva recently when France was chairing the EU. So you might have some insights for all of us and for Salima, for us to better understand where EU stands on this very important topic.
So yeah, indeed, in Geneva, I had the honor and the heavy responsibility of representing the EU during the negotiations, and we worked very, very well closely together. All the member states closely coordinated, with the support of the European Commission, and we achieved to have in all instances a common position on the different elements for discussions and negotiations. This meeting was also part of the idea that it was during the French presidency of the Council of the European Union. This meeting was also the objective to continue in a way this coordination, also information at a broader scale. We are still discussing with the colleagues from the EU, but you are right, we still need more energy at that level. It shouldn't be only Spain, Portugal, Italy, and France, and also maybe Luxembourg, but we have Ireland also involved, but I'm sure we can get much bigger support at the EU level together with the European Commission. It was something done by the previous government under Madame Grégoire. Her cabinet was very instrumental in trying to push forward a common position on that initiative. We now have, as Frédéric mentioned, a new minister in charge of SSE in France. So I believe she will capture this topic for her international activities. But we also expect some support, let's say, from the civil society at the local, national level, together with your representative ministries, to mention that initiative and also push from the bottom up with the support of the civil society, so that we can again achieve this European spirit we succeeded to push forward in Geneva. We should do the same in New York.
Thank you, Arnaud. Do we have representatives of maybe other European countries who would like to comment on this and express their support and tell us where their country stands? I don't know who's here with us today who could maybe comment on this. No? Okay. I also see a comment regarding the need for support from the African Union. And I know that Senegal was also, I don't know if it is still the case, but Senegal was also the president of the African Union. So I do believe that considering the strong support and involvement and Mr. Ndiaye will actually probably comment on this, but I'm sure they've done a great deal in trying to get support from the African Union. Mr. Ndiaye.
Oui, merci beaucoup. Juste d'abord pour effectivement dire que le Sénégal continue toujours donc à assurer la présidence donc de l'Union africaine à travers le président Macky Sall. Et justement, c'est l'une des raisons pour lesquelles, en tout cas, nous avons demandé au président de la République de faire participer Madame le ministre. Madame le ministre a demandé, je veux dire, l'autorisation. Parmi les motifs, elle a bien évoqué le fait que le Sénégal assurant donc la présidence, sa présence sera très symbolique. Et donc, même si le Sénégal ne pourra pas directement parler au nom de l'Afrique, mais le simple fait que le Sénégal soit présent est déjà symbolique d'une dynamique qui pourra être enclenchée à ce niveau-là, vu la fonction actuelle exercée par le président du Sénégal. Et donc, en fait, si nous n'avons pas pu dérouler une stratégie pour avoir avec nous d'abord les pays de l'UEMOA, j'aimerais vous rappeler que la Côte d'Ivoire était déjà à Paris avec nous et nous avions quand même convenu de mettre en place une stratégie d'abord au niveau de l'UEMOA qui regroupe les pays francophones et qui parfois sont beaucoup plus faciles à mobiliser, ensuite l'élargir au niveau donc de la CEDEAO et ensuite donc de l'Union africaine. Mais cela, comme vous le savez, les processus diplomatiques, malheureusement, sont des processus lents et donc avec le fait que la résolution doive être présentée rapidement, donc ne nous a pas donné le temps de dérouler cette stratégie. Mais bon, nous, on a la chance déjà, notre représentation à New York est déjà informée du processus et nous sommes en train donc de prendre toutes les dispositions pour que donc cette représentation puisse donc s'impliquer en tout cas au niveau du processus, étant entendu donc que nous n'aurons pas le temps donc officiellement d'obtenir l'adhésion des pays africains, mais nous avons d'autres pays africains avec nous et qui, avec nous, comme nous, ferons la sensibilisation informelle et donc pour attirer le maximum de pays africains. Voilà donc les quelques précisions que je voulais apporter. Merci.
Très bien. Merci, Monsieur Ndiaye. I think your colleague, Mrs. Samba, would also maybe like to add some comments, and then I will maybe ask a question to Yvon Poirier, who's writing some interesting comments. But first, Mrs. Samba. Madame Samba, vous voulez prendre la parole? Non, on dirait que non. So I was just seeing some comments from Yvon Poirier. You're actually holding an event tomorrow. Maybe it would be a good opportunity for you to tell us about this high political event tomorrow, Yvon, or maybe other comments. Your organization has been very active from day one and for many years, actually, with the PACT for Impact, but also with the UN Task Force. So if you would like to make some comments, the floor is yours. Yvon? No? Ah, he was in the waiting room, apparently. Yvon, are you with us? Yvon Poirier, can you hear us?
And also Madame Samba is back. Madame Samba, allez-y.
Alors, Madame Samba, vous êtes de retour, allez-y.
Voilà, je m'excuse, c'est le réseau qui nous a fait un peu défaut. Donc, juste pour appuyer M. Ndiaye, pour dire que, réitérer aussi l'engagement du Sénégal dans ce processus et dire qu'au niveau du Sénégal, bon, donc, il y a beaucoup de choses qui ont été faites en matière de promotion de l'économie sociale et solidaire. Et cela dénote vraiment de l'engagement au plus haut niveau du président de la République. Donc, nous sommes donc en phase
Madame Samba, je crois que vous avez un petit problème effectivement de connexion. I would like to know if Yvon Poirier has joined us again. Yvon, est-ce que vous êtes avec nous? Non, en effet. We have a mic problem. Okay, we're going to try to solve this. Do we have any other comments or questions? Yvon, si vous nous parlez, on ne vous entend pas. Je ne sais pas si c'est vous qui essayez de parler. Il y a un espèce de bruit de fond, mais malheureusement, c'est inaudible. Okay. Anyone else? Questions, comments? Everything is clear? Okay, we have more people trying to join in. Oh, Sue, please.
Thank you. My second question. I put it in the chat.
J'espère que vous m'avez été entendu parce que j'avais quelques problèmes de connexion. Si mon discours est bien passé.
Alors, nous ne vous avons pas bien entendu. Nous avons Sue Riddlestone qui était en train de parler. Après, on reviendra à vous si vous voulez bien. Sue?
Okay. Thank you. I wondered, as other speakers were mentioning civil society support, perhaps we should coordinate our support. You know, you can always get a badge made or have a leaflet, or so perhaps should we coordinate that through PACT for Impact and Group SOS as the Secretariat? And I guess this is a question for Juan Manuel. And secondly, are there any critical dates in September for the resolution that we should aim for? You know, which part of the UN General Assembly do you think that this will be heard? I heard about the second committee, but I don't know when that is. Thank you.
So we have two questions here, one for Juan Manuel, and then maybe I will turn again to Arnaud on the second question.
Yes, thank you, Sue. Yes, of course. Well, a coordination from the civil society can be made through PACT for Impact. That's okay. The important thing is that we reach the maximum support possible.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Juan Manuel. Arnaud, would you like to comment on the second question? Indeed, it's an important one. Where do we stand? Why this second committee and the time frame? Even though nothing is for certain, but there is a preferred path, I believe.
Yes, it's complicated in New York. There are different options. One very good option could be to go for there is a second committee, so-called second committee in the United Nations dealing with economic and financial matters. So it could be the right place where the resolution could be tabled. We are working on that together with the ministries of foreign affairs, the French one, but also more importantly, the Spanish Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Then the main next step, I would say, is to give the appropriate mandate to the permanent representations in New York so that they can, in fact, initiate the process and the protocol on the basis of a draft resolution. Once these instructions has been pushed forward, has been made clear, it's up indeed to the Perm Rep to follow up. It could be by end of September already the beginning of the race, if we go for the second committee or the third committee or the General Assembly. But the easiest way, let's say, based on what we understood so far, is second committee potentially already this year, Q4 2022, and adoption by the General Assembly through the unanimity and the no vote procedure, provided the second committee discussion have been fruitful and successful. We are trying to work on that this year or next year, let's say.
Okay, sorry, and thank you. Could I just clarify? So is it helpful for civil society who are often at the UN General Assembly in New York to undertake some activities during the General Assembly towards the resolution?
I think what will be important is to support the visibility of the initiative, the resolution, as it was done, I would say, in Geneva. I think that civil society was very instrumental in the success of the discussions in Geneva ahead of the conference and also during the conference. And it could help if the civil society can also, let's say, influence at the PERM rep level, and also, the different stakeholders in the committees and the General Assembly. It will help.
Thank you, that's clear. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
We will do our best.
Thank you.
I'm sure you will, Sue. I see that Yvon is now back with us and he's raised his hand. So we have a few more minutes, but I would really like to give him the opportunity to say a few words about the high-level political forum, the event being hosted tomorrow by RIPESS and
Yes.
the United Task Force.
Yes. You hear me this time? Yes.
Yes, we can hear you, Yvon.
Yes. Yes. Most people already received this invitation. If not, I will consent again. Tomorrow, RIPESS is involved at the high-level political forum since the beginning. And this year, our friend from Malaysia will be in New York with the Malaysian delegation. So we registered an event in partnership with the UN Task Force, where we try to represent the whole ecosystem of SSE. So OECD, like today, Task Force, but also others will be at the meeting. Arnaud will be at the meeting. So we want to show, this will be an event also to promote the SSE for the United Nations in the next months. We're hoping also to join with other countries. For example, I'm not sure this will be possible, but for example, we're trying to have Malaysia involved at July 22nd event. So these are things we can do. For civil society, we are also related to other social movements in civil society who are also going to New York most years. So we will also share this as soon as we know if it comes to the second committee. We can share this with whole civil society, because there are many people in the NGOs who have accreditation at the UN ECOSOC. So they're organizing mini events, and we can promote this also on the different websites. So this we'll be doing in the next weeks. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Yvon. And I think this is a good way to end this meeting. Again, it's teamwork. It's different organizations, different coalitions, different countries getting together, working together. This is not the end of it. We still have a lot of work to do. First, to get this resolution passed, and then after the resolution is passed, which I'm sure it will be, then we will continue the work together. Thank you very much again, everyone, for being with us today. Do not hesitate to contact the PACT for Impact team. Sorry, should you have any questions, we'll be happy to answer them. Again, we'll continue the coordination and the work, and we will see you very soon. Thank you.